So picture this. You're watching this really cramped, low-budget local news broadcast.
Right, like old public access television.
Yeah, exactly. The set just screams like, Channel 4, the biggest, best news. And the anchor is this character named Rick. And he is wearing a suit made entirely of shredded $100 bills.
Which is just such an incredible image.
Oh, it's great. And his co-host,
No co-host.
the ancient philosopher Socrates, who is gripping a golden microphone that is, I mean, undeniably just a spray-painted potato.
It's the absolute perfect visual definition of absurdism, really. You're looking at a world that's desperately trying to, dress up total nonsense as absolute authority.
Which is exactly why we're here. Welcome to today's custom deep dive, where our mission for you is to act as media critics. We're unpacking this wildly satirical narrative called text.
Right, and we're exploring how it brilliantly mashes up that specific brand of sci-fi cartoon nihilism with modern political performance art.
To really get how text functions, you have to look at how it uses language as a weapon. I mean, in this universe, a government shutdown isn't a real crisis.
No, they completely rebrand it.
Exactly. The Coast Guard can't pay rent, but they call it a full-scale vacation for freedom.
Oh, and don't forget the Department of Homeland Security.
Yes, they claim it's just unmanifesting so the ghosts of the Founding Fathers can take over.
It reminds me of extreme corporate doublespeak. Like when a company fires half its staff but calls it a mandatory alumni graduation.
That corporate analogy is actually perfect because the psychological mechanism is identical. I mean, if you change the vocabulary, you completely hijack the audience's perception of reality.
Right, you bypass all the logical outrage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You replace it with a patriotic buzzword. And this manipulation scales straight up to actual global conflict, which we see when Socrates visits the Board of Peace in Davos.
Oh man, that scene.
Yeah.
He asked this deeply logical question about rebuilding a $5 billion project in Gaza with imaginary gold.
And the president just completely ignores the logic.
Yeah, literally just calls Socrates a loser with great hair. Which triggers this crushing realization for Socrates. He realizes that truth has absolutely nothing to do with facts anymore. Truth is just, well, it's dictated by whoever holds the loudest megaphone.
If the Board of Peace says war is a rebranding exercise,
Yeah.
that just becomes the accepted reality.
Right. And actually, just to be absolutely clear here for you listening, because this text heavily satirizes modern political polarization, we're looking at this strictly as impartial media analysts.
Oh, 100%.
We are not endorsing any political viewpoints from the source material, whether left or right. We're simply dissecting how the narrative uses satire to make its point.
Yeah, and it's a pretty bleak point they're making. The nihilistic tone really gets amplified when text applies this Harmon-style breakdown to global affairs.
Right, like Dan Harmon.
Exactly, the creator of Rick and Morty.
Right.
It's that flavor of cynical, rapid-fire meta-comedy where nothing is sacred.
I mean, they treat national sovereignty not as a human right, but as a literal subscription service.
Funded by good intentions and bacon rack treasury bonds.
Which is just so absurd. They even talk about the aesthetic annexation of Greenland, right? Operating on this twisted logic that if it's on a map, it's a resort.
It reduces these massive historical conflicts into just easily digestible, superficial content.
Exactly. The tragedy of a nation losing its sovereignty is completely erased from public consciousness if leadership markets it as like a trendy aesthetic upgrade.
But wait, let me push back on that a little. If power completely overwrites reality, why does anyone even care? Doesn't the text acknowledge the actual human cost of all this nonsense?
Oh, well, it does, yeah.
Because later on, you have Morty, Rick's anxious sidekick, and he's literally watching the collapse. He's yelling from off camera that people are self-deporting into the ocean because the vibes are too intense. So reality is still biting back.
Right. That is a really crucial distinction. Reality is biting back, but the critique is focused on how society actively chooses to ignore that bite.
Oh, I see.
Right. So Morty represents the viewer desperately clinging to consequence, while the rest of the world has just decided consequence is boring.
Which is where the character Summer comes in.
Yes. She points out that the public doesn't actually want oversight. They would much rather watch the president build a space wall out of recycled irony.
It's arguing that chaotic reality is purposefully packaged into this lean, mean, don't overthink it entertainment.
Exactly. Just so society never actually has to confront the terrifying crises underneath it all.
Which all culminates in Rick's ultimate, deeply cynical metaphor. He wraps up the news broadcast by declaring, the world is just a partial government shutdown in a gold-plated blender.
And you really only have a couple of options when you're staring at that blender. I mean, Rick chooses to sell blender-themed merch.
Right. He abandons logic entirely just to profit off the chaos.
Meanwhile, poor Morty is left endlessly searching for his moral compass in a room full of magnets.
Trying to find true north in a system actively designed to distort it. Man,
It's heavy.
it
Yeah.
really is. So if the line between satire and reality continues to blur every single day we check our feeds, it leaves you with a pretty uncomfortable question to ponder.
Oh, definitely.
Are you, as a daily news consumer, already actively shopping for your own Blender-themed merch without even realizing it? Next time a media narrative tries to sell you absolute truth, take a closer look.
Because you might just be holding a spray-painted potato.